Hey y'all, this is DaButcher, and in this video we're going to take a look at the SuperBox S7 Pro. We're going to take a look at what's featured in this and what the pros and cons to this particular device are, and to see if maybe this may fit into your needs for cord cutting. Stay tuned. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. In the SuperBox S7 Pro, we're going to get the device itself with the two antennas. We're going to get a Bluetooth remote, which works very well, and I like the feel of the buttons on it. We're going to get an HDMI cord as well as a power source, and this is connected via a USB-C connection. On the front, we're going to get a little LED screen here. Does a good job of showing the time as well as connectability and giving little icons for different things that are going on with the device. On the side, we're going to get some little venting ports for cooling. We're also going to get a micro SD port there. The TF port is for a micro SD card if you should choose. You have new to this device is the USB-C powered port. So you're able to plug in through USB-C. So we're going to get a good connection on that, good speed. A number of different peripherals if you want to, as well as you get the USB port and a little reset button. Let's see, on the back we're going to get the port for the USB-C port that goes for the cord. We're going to get an IR port, a V port, as well as the HDMI, the Ethernet port, and a optical cable. And this is the bottom of the case where we're going to get some venting, and you can see it's a little bit different from the Max and the Pro, which were plastic, or which were metal casings. This case is plastic, so this doesn't feel as solid as the other two models, but maybe that's where they're saving that $50, because this is a $50. This is $50 cheaper than those other models. As well as only being 32 gigs. But that was with a big difference on the case itself, is that this is plastic. The other two are, a brushed metal. So let's get into here where we're going to take a look at, this is some of the disclaimer. You're going to get this when you very first boot up. And so you'll go through there and hit agree. We'll also get the part here where it's showing that it's connected through an Ethernet port, and then this screen here is where if I want to make the screen a little bit bigger, if you find that it's too big for your TV or a little bit too small for your TV, the actual the screen, how it fits, you're able to adjust it quite easily to make it a little bit bigger or make it a little bit small. And you can see here I enlarge it to get a little bit larger. And this is the home screen, a pretty cool home screen. They have redone this. It's got a little bit better coloring scheme, in my opinion, giving you that little bit of a mirrored finish. We're going to get the live TV, we're going to get VOD, playback button, a browser button, which will be Chrome, an apps button, so anything you have installed is going to be in apps, an app store, so if you wanted to go to the Google Play Store or the actual third-party store that SuperBox offers, it's in here too, along with the little advertisement, and I'll call it, over here on the right, which does change depending on the day and the week. That will be updated automatically. So if there's a big event coming on, it'll be there, or as you see with football, it is showing. So let's go down here and take a look. The very first thing you're going to want to get into this section, you're going to want to go to the App Store, and we're going to see the little Android guy. We're going to want to click that and open it up, and it's going to download their particular store, their APK. It's going to download, and then we're going to see that the icon will change. You can see it has that blue icon with a little grocery, like a little bag on it. Let's go into that. And we're going to get a disclaimer. This is a one-time disclaimer talking about that, they're not responsible for things. And if there are things in here that you feel like need to be removed, you can contact them and they will remove it. So let's get into the actual store and see what we got going on here. So the store has a lot of different stuff, and this is a third-party store. This isn't Google Play, and we'll have some items across the top here, and these top 5 items you're going to want to go ahead and install. The ones that aren't installed, you're going to want the VOD, the blue VOD. We're going to want the blue TV. We're going to want blue sports. We're going to want the playback, as well as the backup TV. We're going to want to install all of these. And then there are other apps down below. You can choose to install them if you want. They're not promised. They may work at times, or they may be taken away at any point, but they're not part of their regular package, but they do offer some extras. If something is installed, it will have a green check. If it's gray, means that it needs to be downloaded. And if it has like a recycle sign, which none of those do, it means that the installed app needs to be updated. So it'll look like two little arrows, looks like a recycle sign, and that just means you need to click it and to update it. Now, if you find something isn't working, like as you've been using it and it's fine, don't be scared to come into the App Store here and see if there is an update. There may be something where it needs to be updated, and you could click it and install it. Or do the update. So that will happen on occasion. So we're going to go over here and let's go jump into the live section. Now, when you go into any of these sections, it will just be blank. It will be blank with just a little plus, which means you can add shortcuts to any of the things that are installed already on the device. On this, I go ahead and I'm going to click on a couple items. I'm going to do the backup, as well as the blue TV. And once I click them and then hit back, now you see that they are shortcutted into this section. Again, you can add all the items that you want in any of these particular sections by just hitting the add button. So that's, for me, I just want to have live TV in here. And we're going to get it to open up. And if you find it ever gets to where it hangs on this section here, sometimes you need to back out and go back into it. So if you find that the load time on this, now I've paused the screen, but if you find that it's going really, really slow, or if it stops, push the back button to get back to the main menu and then click to go back into it. And that will sometimes fix it. This here is for the remote, kind of giving you a little bit of help to navigate how to add favorites and such. So I'm just going to go here. Let's talk about that later. And this here is the live TV running. Now you can see all channels is over 2,000 at this particular date. That could change at any point. And it's broken down into categories. And as you really can't see it because I have to blur it out. But there is a TV guide that works very well. It will show you what is playing, and that does a very good job of populating what shows are on and what's coming up. So that works very well. And I've kind of blanked this out so I don't get in a lot of trouble, but I can't really show you the channels and how they're broken down in categories. But you're going to have all of your different sporting categories. You're going to have different channels categories. They make it pretty logical when you're going through it, so it's not too hard to figure out. But one of the things on this particular section, if you get into using this and if you wanted to use the search feature from the remote, there is a little blue microphone. If you click that, it will open up a little dialog box, and you say the channel or the show you're looking for, and it will actually search for all the items that it feels that meets whatever your request was. So the voice search within this does a fabulous job. So I'll say that is something that a lot of other devices don't do a very good job on, but this one does. It does a very good job of doing search, and you'll find it very responsive. And again, the channels load quite quick compared to some other services that I've been using in the past. So I'm going to go ahead. I use Ada64 to do some looking at what the hardware is on this device, as well as some of the software or the items that are installed. One of the things that I noticed on this, as well as the S6, is the lack of, I could not find the H65 codec in the group here. And if we pause this for a second, you will see, I see the H64, or excuse me, the H264, I see the H263, I see the different, you can spot the different codecs that are already installed, but we do not see the H265. And I'll talk about this a little bit later at my final conclusion of this video, but it states on the box that this has H265, but when we're looking through the codecs, it's not here. And when you play a file that's a 265 file, which is most of your 4K content, it does not play. It plays horribly. I mean, it's you'll hear the audio, but the video just, it's like snapshots of video. It is just, it's unplayable. So I'm curious of why the box states this one, as well as the S6, states a 265, but then when I'm looking through here, I don't see the 265. So and again, I've tried this with Kodi and Plex, FlixVision. I tried it with a number of different apps, and all of them were the same thing. The 4K playback is, it just doesn't work. It's not there. So hopefully they add that. I'm not sure why it's not there. So let's go ahead and jump into the VOD button. I clicked on this, and again, it's blank, so I get to choose what I want to put here. I'm just going to put the blue VOD. If you're a person that uses Kodi or Plex or some of those other applications, and you install them on this device, which you can install things through the Play Store this very easily, or you can install stuff from their Play Store, or not their Play Store, but their third-party store. And they have also other third-party stores that you can install. You can install any of those items, and you can create shortcuts right in here. So works very good. So let's go ahead. Same thing. It's going to load the picture, and then we're going to get movies and TV shows, and this is going to be all the current stuff, as well as a lot of some of the older stuff. Playback. Playback is your kind of your rollback, your catch-up. It's going to be the shows that or the programming that has happened previous days or even hours ago. So when we go in here, you're going to see a list of 7 days, different categories, depends on sporting event or categories, and then you can go back to those different days, and then we can go and click on an item to roll back in time to watch your programs. On my S6, I found this to work very well. There was only 1 or 2 sporting events that I found did not work or didn't record that particular event, but it was very rare. So that playback is a very cool feature if people like that just think of a DVR function. Let's take a look at some of the other stuff on here. So we have where we can add shortcuts, and you can see the little plus right here. I'm able to pick anything that is installed on the device, and I can create a shortcut right here. Let's go through here. What am I going to add here? Let's go ahead and put downloader, then hit back, and there you go. There is downloader as a shortcut. You can go and remove that and add another one in there, but we can also add quite a few. I think there's like 8 that can be right along that line. So it's cool to have those apps that you're going to get to on a regular basis. So what are some of these buttons down here at the bottom? We start with, we got the settings. So if we click that, we'll get your normal Android settings will open up. So if you're familiar with Android, that's what's going to come up. We have a file manager. So on here, we're going to have the file manager where we're able to go in on the device, or if we had a USB hard drive or a USB stick inserted into the side of the device, we could move files from the stick onto the device or vice versa. So This is a great way of managing the content that is on your device. The next one here is just a cleanup tool. You click it, and it does some little cleaning, removes packages, and just kind of keeps old files gone. We have a speed test button. Now this will use Chrome, so the first time you open up Chrome, you'll have to say, yeah, I want to use Chrome, and give it accept it. And you can use a mouse function. It has a mouse function on the mouse, and you can see I have to move over here. No thanks on that. And then it goes through, and I'm doing, this is an Ethernet connection, doing a little test, and comes up good. You're going to be able to play any content you want on that kind of speed. The next button, or you see I exit the mouse mode. The next button here is uninstall. So if I want to remove a product, I can just click it and remove it. This here is for syncing of your controller. Shows you right here what you need to do. Pretty self-explanatory. Once it's searching, pairs, now the remote control is paired to the device. We also have, if those 8 items that shortcuts on the home page were not enough for you, we can add shortcuts to the buttons, so of the keypads. So I could have 1 through 0 can be a shortcut to a number of different apps. So that gives you quick access. If you just want to click 1 and it opens up Blue TV, you can do that. So another option for folks that if they want to use that for shortcuts. It also has technical support. So again, I do not work for SuperBox. They've sent me these devices for review. I was not paid to do these reviews. They just sent me the device and said, do an honest review, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you an honest opinion, tell you the pros and cons to each of these devices. If you have problems with this device, contact the seller. I am not the seller, and I'm not a representative of that company, so you need to reach out to one of these through one of these ways of reaching them to handle any of your customer service issues, be whatever it is. In the video, I will try to help on questions that, from just a user standpoint, things that I can answer. So I can answer what I experience as a user, but I can't really give you technical support as a seller. So let's go ahead and I'm going to give you some of my final thoughts. Again, I don't work for SuperBox. I was not paid by them to do this video. They sent me the devices, and I'm going to give you what I feel are the positives to this device, and I will give you the things that may not be so positive, some of the things they fell short on. So let's take a look at the positives first, the pros. So the pros to me, this is a plug-and-play device. You saw from this video how long it took me to get it set up. Within minutes. This is not a difficult thing to set up, even for someone that is non-tech, non-techie. They could pretty much walk through and set this device up and be up and running. That is the real plus to this, is that plug-and-play option. As well as it's easy to use. The interface of it seems very intuitive, seems very logical. So for a person that is maybe older or a non-tech person, pretty easy to figure out how to maneuver around the page and how to get things to where you need it to be. The 7-day playback, that 7-day catch-up, is very nice. As I said when I was talking about the playback, in my experience with the S6, very few times did a event that I wanted to go back and look at that it didn't have it. I can only think of one event where I clicked it and it looked like their time was off because the game, it started recording 30 minutes before the game, and it just, something was wrong with that. But with that actual recording, the game was there, but it recorded 30 minutes before the event started, and then it seemed like it stopped 10 minutes before the event was over. But that was rare. all the other events that I roll back and have checked, they always worked. So no annual fees. This is you buy this device with the features that are offered through the device, and that's what you pay. You pay one time and you're done. There's no annual fees to this. There's no subscriptions every year where you have to resubscribe. It's a one and done. You pay for it and the box works until it doesn't work. Parental controls. It does have a section which I didn't really show, but you can go through, block certain channels or certain apps. Gives you a lot of flexibility as a parent. You could go through and make things not accessible to certain members of your family and set up passwords where that they can only use certain categories. That's very easy to do. I kind of tinkered around a little bit with it, but not hard to do for someone that wants those kind of things. The voice remote, as I said when I was looking at the live, works great. The voice remote, when I'm looking for certain channels, it does a great job with giving me the results. That also works in the VOD section. If I wanted to search for a movie or a TV show, it does a very good job. If I'm in that section, if I have that app open and I search for a particular movie, it does a very good job of giving me results according to what it was able to find for what I had said. The USB-C port, this is new, and that is a nice feature to have when, especially if we want to plug in external drives or remotes or game pads, any of that kind of stuff. And it also has the SD card port, which gives us expandability. This comes with 32 gigs of storage, but you could put things on an SD card and then slide it into the side of the box, and you're able to access all kinds of more content or more space if you need to. I didn't put it on this list, but I know when I had used the S6, I have done emulation. So if you're into retro gaming and you want to play some old Atari or PlayStation, that stuff works on this. This processor and RAM is good enough to run emulation from Atari all the way up to PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 is about the maximum, its ceiling of what it'll run. I ran a couple PSP games on it, but not a lot. PS1 is about where it maxed out at. It's not going to play any PS2 games, but it'll play anything below that. So that is any of your Sega and your Nintendos and any of that kind of stuff will play just fine on this device. So it's a nice to have that feature if you want to have this device and then plug in some emulation and put a gamepad in here, and you're able to play a little bit of gaming. So let's take a look at some of the cons on this. So the biggest con right off the bat would be the price. These devices are not super cheap. They are kind of expensive as an initial cost. But with the lifetime TV and VOD section, you could recoup your cost very quickly on this. And it's going to have, again, it's going to have everything that you're going to want on this. It's going to have it all. So the price is kind of a big chunk to pay up front. And if you're a experienced cord cutter, yes, maybe you can do all this stuff on a Fire Stick or an NVIDIA Shield or an on-box cheaper. Yes, but you're going to have to set that up. So it is a big price up front, but you're going to be able to get that back over time if you keep it for a while. There's no guarantees on lifetime. So if this company should go bottom up, which it's been around about 3 years as far as I can tell, if it should go bottom up, there's nothing you're going to be able to do. There's no repercussion. There's no recourse that you're going to be able to get your money back on it. So you're going to be kind of stuck on that. If the other downside is there's no local company, you're not buying this from your local Best Buy or your Walmarts, you're having to deal with somebody online. some people don't like to deal with a company that is only online. So that can be a downer for some folks. But for me, I've been able to contact the company at different times, and sometimes it might take a day or two for them to respond, but they have gotten back to me anytime where I've asked a question or I've had an issue. They have reached back out to me. Again, sometimes took a day or two for them to hit me back, but they would reach back to me. The thing I did mention earlier, no H.265 4K playback, even though it states on the box, it's not going to play 4K. But most of the people that are buying this device probably don't care about the 4K content. It plays 1080 beautifully, so that's going to work just fine. But the 4K 265 codec not being there, again, is another downer. I would really hope that they would add that in through an update, which these devices do get firmware updates. I have seen my S6 get a couple updates over the last 9 or 10 months that I've had that. They have it's gotten over the air updates, and basically you just click it and it updates and it reboots and you're done. There's no real technical things need to be done for an update. If you decide that you want to have one of these devices and you want to order it, you can use the code DaButcher. You will save $50. If you don't want it, it's no sweat off of me. I'm not a seller of these devices. I'm here just to do a review, tell some people of the pros and cons of this, so that someone can make a more educated decision on, does this fit their needs for their cord cutting. I said earlier, all customer service issues must contact the seller. I'm not the seller of these devices. I'm just someone that's doing a review. But again, I've not had a lot of issues. I've had friends that have ended up buying these devices, and they like them because they're simple to use. They like them for that reason. And the money that they're saving makes up for the price of the device pretty quickly. If they were able to cut back on their subscriptions or from their cable TV costs, and they're able to pull back on that, they gain their money back pretty quickly. And again, plug and play pretty much, and within 5 minutes you can be from time plugging this into your TV to you're done. If you have one of these devices, or if you want to talk about this in the comments below, post it in there. I will do my best to answer any of the questions on the things that I know about and the things that I've experienced, so I can give you some of that advice. But again, I hope that you liked the video. Hope it educates you enough on what's different about this, and if this is something better than you buying a Fire Stick and starting all over and going through that whole that setup. So again, thank you all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one.